how to actually patch very specific cases. And most of the cases they mentioned were related to pain. And that's very interesting. So the team and I decided to do something about it and create two things. Number one, a place for everyone to access at any time at not cost. And number two, at that place we will share the most basic concepts and techniques we've been using so anyone could deal with pain more effectively. Sounds good? So that's what actually dealing with pain patching technique series is.
So don't get confused, they're going to use a lot of technical words. Just flow with it, okay?
It will be important for you to take note of this though. If you were a member of our advanced protocols area before, you are already familiar with all these techniques. However, you can always review them. Lastly, if you have any question related to the techniques we are including here, please use the comment box below. In that way, everyone will benefit from your question and our answers. Very well then. I will leave you now with dealing with pain patching techniques part 1, and I will be back on part 2. Enjoy.
Hi, and welcome to Patching Protocol video series. This first video will cover a large subject, and that is dealing with pain. If you have watched our first video series, The LifeWave Journey, you may have by now a better understanding of the few basic principles of LifeWave patches and how we could initiate a correction to our imbalances. In other words, attempt to reverse our current state of discomfort. As we all know, pain is definitely a state of discomfort that we would all like to manage more efficiently. This particular video will deal specifically with pain management by outlining simple concepts and different approaches to various cases and possible scenarios. Let's get started then. As we could see on video number 3, in cases of general pain, like back pain for example, we could place an ice wave tan or negative patch directly to the point of pain. It was also said that the ice wave white or positive patch could...
Okay, so the ice wave is the patch for pain. So, and it comes in two, negative, positive, right? The negative one is brown, and the positive one is white. All right, so you're going to see that shortly. And so the position now is based on pain, and then they are looking directly opposite across the body, right? You put the brown at the point of pain at the back, where the pain is, and then the white one on the opposite side of your body. Okay, so they're just going to show you different patching. So you don't need to memorize this, just relax. It's all on YouTube, so you can watch it later on, okay?
The brochure has it too.
Yes, the brochure, and the little notes that come will show you some of these positions. Okay, go ahead.
Could be placed, for example, at the sternum. That approach is helpful in some cases, but what could we do if the level of pain does not change with those placements? Finding the right direction. This approach will also require us to place an ice wave tan or negative patch directly to the point of pain. If we think in terms of energy flow, we could attempt to stimulate that area in a specific direction. For example, if we place the ice wave white or positive patch at the top position of the tan patch, we would attempt to increase the energy flow in that direction. This approach is called the clock or Haltewang or cross method, where we basically need to move the white patch in a clock-like motion, starting at the top, then to the right, below, and lastly the left position, which are also called the 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions respectively. Now let's continue with our first scenario. After placing the white patch at the 12 o'clock position, we can wait for a short while, like 30 seconds, and we should pay attention if the pain has changed in any way. We say in any way, because the pain could actually decrease or increase its intensity. The good news is that both outcomes will help us during this process. Next, if after a short while we feel no change to the level of pain, we could move the white patch from the 12 o'clock to the 3 o'clock position. We wait again for a short while, like 30 seconds, and if we feel no change to the level of pain, we can move the white patch to the 6 o'clock position. Now let's say that the pain has changed at this particular location. The question then would be, in a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being the current level of pain, how much the pain has decreased at that stage. Let's create a scenario where the pain has decreased from 10 to 8. What could we do to attempt decreasing even more then? Take the white patch and keep the 6 o'clock position as a reference, and move it approximately 1 inch to the right. Wait for another 30 seconds, and if the pain has not changed, we move it again, but now approximately 1 inch to the left side. That has shown in many cases a further improvement to the level of pain. Now, what would happen if the position at the previous scenario, instead of decreasing the level of pain, increases it even more? This new scenario would sometimes require us to simply exchange both patch positions. The tan patch will go where the white patch is, and therefore the white patch will go where the tan patch was before. We just reverse the polarity. Doing this, it has also shown in many cases a further improvement to the level of pain. Now, if the pain we are dealing with has been there for a long time, or as we commonly call it, an old pain, sometimes the best thing to do would be to start all the previous process by placing the white patch directly to the point of pain and move the tan patch around. The arrow technique. There is another variation to the clock method. This approach will also require us to place an ice wave tan or negative patch directly to the point of pain. Now, thinking like we shoot an arrow straight through the point of pain, we can place the ice wave white or positive patch directly to the opposite side of the body, following the arrow direction. In this case, it would be above the chest. Wait for a short while, like 30 seconds, and if we feel no change to the level of pain, we start the clock method on that side of the body. Now we start with 12 o'clock, then 3 o'clock, and so on, until we can identify any change on the level of pain while on any of those positions. Important note, do experiment different variations of all the concepts just explained. With this method alone, usually a great amount of pain reduction is achieved. Moving pain. Some of us have experienced while testing different positions that the pain will move to a different location. Now, in some cases, by moving the ice wave tan patch directly to the new point of pain would help, but usually the pain will move back to its original place, so we won't really like to chase the pain around. Here, it is an interesting way to go about it. Let's say the pain is moved downward from its original location. Now, while leaving the set of ice wave patches in place, we add another ice wave tan patch directly to the new point of pain, and place another ice wave white patch over the tan patch, or as we call it, stacked over. That simple approach has shown very good results when the pain moves around. We will also look into more advanced stacking techniques later in this video. Local, adjacent, and distal areas.
Okay,
With the
let's
clock
stop
method,
that
we are
there.
placing-
Let's stop that there. So let me show you those different patches that we've been talking about. So he's been talking a lot about ice wave, which is really the big patch for pain. You're gonna see in the notes I'm gonna give you, sometimes they put it in combination with the Dion, the YH patch. And this patch is the stem cell patch. Then there are other patches for energy. I use this one for tennis a lot, and it has shown me significant results.
Where do you put it?
I put it, it's like the pain patch, I put the brown and the white, the brown and the white. I mean the brown outside and the white inside. Or sometimes I put it over here. But also, then I put my stem cell patch, which is the X39 at the top, right? So we also have patches for glutathione, which is the detox patch, and then that's the sleep patch. I have another patch, which is for aging. Actually, I have only one of that. That's the one Kim was talking about earlier.
For skin? Is that for skin or aging?
It's
I thought it was
for,
for skin.
there's the carnosine, yeah, it's for skin,
For skin.
and then there's the Ayurveda. Yes, this is the one,
For the
the
skin.
aging patch. This is the
Well, what is
anti-
happening with the aging of the skin?
No, this one is actually directly for skin, for renewing skin
That's what
and
I'm saying.
wrinkles.
And then
Yes.
the aging is what it's gonna do.
Well, everything here is for aging
Oh.
because it's the
Yeah,
reversal
that's what I
issue.
want.
Okay.
That shows how, like, if you wear stem cell for 4 to 8 weeks, your face actually changes. Right?
Yeah, I think
Big wrinkles if
New collagen. New collagen
Let's
produced.
get collagen.
Yeah, there's a video there for that, but we don't have a lot of time for that. So let me go ahead. So I'm gonna give you some slides, and we're gonna walk through that, so that you get some ideas, of some of the different things that you can do, okay? So open it to this page. Golden sequence. It's the page. Yeah. Before it says golden sequence step 1, day 1. So the technique, the important note before you start, there are basically 3 steps in this sequence, and you can test all 3 steps in 1 day, or every 4 hours per step, total 12 hours, or you could test each step in 3 consecutive days instead, total 72 hours. If you notice, there is a lot of options because everybody's body is different. You know, people are like, which is the answer? So if you notice, patching, once you start using the patch, you have to play with it. Over time, you're going to find what works for your body, right? It's not like it's an exact. Can you guys wait and we will get to the slide so we can talk together? If no, you're not listening to me. You can't multitask, all right? So just listen to me. If no, you're going to have questions later on. So what they're trying to give you notice here, they have a 3-day consecutive days for people who have some kind of illness, specifically pain or any other kind of illness. So they tell you some of the sequences that you could go through here to actually find relief, okay? And if you notice, the X39, which is the stem cell patch, is not mentioned in all of these patching discussions because it's really a separate option, right? If you don't have any sickness, then you should use only stem cell. But if you have specific other issues, I want more energy, I want to deal with aging, I can't sleep, then you have to add those other patches. Is that making sense? All right? If you're young, healthy, and life is good, then you need only the stem cell patch. So they'll take you through and explain a lot of these things. So if you want to know the guidance of what GV14 means, you can download on the internet the meridian points, and it will tell you each of those points on your body that they are talking about. That is where typically the acupuncture would put the needles. So these are the energy points in the body. So we're not going to spend time here trying to explain what that is. You can go find out yourself. And then it tells you on this page how to find the GV14 acupoint, right? That's that specific point on your back that you want to put things on, right? Then how to find your CV12. So they also do something that they call double stacking. So if you see on this page, you'll see that they are double stacking the carnosine and the glutathione, right? So they double stack, right? So I'm giving you this as guidance, and then they put the ice wave of energy, they tend to put it on the feet. Because if you know, as we grow older, it's really the feet that begin to go, right? That's where we lose balance. That's where, you know, people fall. It's weakness really in the feet. Or legs, sorry, in the legs, sorry. Sometimes I forget my language. So in the legs, right? So I wanted to give you this so that you guys can see an example of where you put things. Sometimes also, because I want more power in my tennis, I put the energy patches on the wrist and the ice wave on the other side. Okay? So that gives me energy and removes pain. Then I become like Tyson. I have packing enormous power. Okay? Are we good? So I wanted to give you this so you guys have some reading material to really excite you. We had promised that everybody who responded would get 5 patches. All right? So there are 5 patches each. The value of these patches is, each patch is about $10 each. So it's about $50. And what we've done is that we've put 1 sample of a patch in each. So we've put a live wave, we've put a glutathione, we've put a sleep, we put a carnosine and I think an energy.
How do you know which pad is which one you
It's written on the back of the
Oh, I'm
patch.
just asking. I mean, they all look the same, you know. How do you know
Yes,
which one
it's
is
written
which?
on the back of the patch.
Okay, so
NES
someone
39.
actually said and
Thank you.
handwritten it.
No. It's actually printed on the back of the patch. So look at it.
And the
It
extra
says
nines in there also.
Silent
Yeah.
Night.
Oh,
Right.
so it's written, okay.
Yes, actually written, or it says glutathione. It's on the back of the patch. Because we all know that we're Americans and we're going to be dealing with lots of patches. We don't want people committing suicide because they didn't know which patch they had to use.
You mean like overdose on patches?
Yes, exactly. Overdose on
Overdose.
patches. So each of you will take a patch, an envelope. So we appreciate and thank you for your participation.
Good surprise.
And
I do want to give extras.
I want the X39. No, I need to get the skin one though.
yeah, you're gonna get that because I've asked Simone. Tomorrow we are at a Vietnamese event, and so I'm asking for more patches to be delivered. So, okay,
One X39.
yeah.
You
So
speak
every
multiple
packet.
languages?
Sorry,
You speak multiple languages?
I speak French.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You-
I don't speak Vietnamese.
I
I have
I was
Vietnamese.
just curious.
I do.
I have Vietnamese people who are gonna on staff that are gonna help at the
Yeah.
event.
Well, a lot of Vietnamese speak French.
There's 8 patches in each.
Yes, true.
Oh yeah, tell them what
Yeah,
the different
there's
ones are.
actually 8 different patches in each.
No, yeah. So, okay, yeah, okay, I made a
Extra,
mistake.
okay.
I made a mistake. So, the ice wave patch comes in 2.
Yeah, negative and positive.
All right? Sorry, I didn't explain that. And the energy patch also comes in 2.
Oh, I didn't know.
All right? So, there are 5 different patches, but there are actually 8 patches in there.
Yeah.
Right? Or
the
7.
set.
Yeah.
Colors
Then
different.
we're good. It's a good deal. It's a good deal.
It's 8 pounds.
Yes. Okay, but you,
And,
Where are
and
the
follow the
X39s?
directions in here?
They're in there.
it's in there. You have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have one X39.
What's your issue? You have pain?
Right here.
Don't lose out your patches.
It's exciting.
No, I use X39 already, so.
Not yet.
And I attest
So,
to it.
yeah, hold on. So typically with the glutathione patch for me, I put in between your navel and there, somewhere in the middle there.
Same
Okay.
thing with the X39, you can either put it here or under your belly.
Yeah, you can put it there also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go underneath your belly button.
So it's good you okay, let's have one conversation, guys. Okay. You heard Mr. Smith himself. He's the CEO. The company is based in San Diego. A lot of people, when they use the patch, including Luis, including me, including some people who've used it, they think it's magical. It's not. The technology is very clear, and I have a lot of the research papers, and you can download them on the website. For each of the patch, they have run clinical trials. So you can look at, and in those research papers, they tell you where the patients actually wore them for that particular research and what the outcomes were. So, because we live in a culture where there's a lot of lack of trust, right? People are concerned about the knowledge and the things that they're being told. There's a lot of fake news, sorry. So there is a lot of concern about a lot of different things, right? So can you help him? There's a lot of concern about, so it's good that you go look at that research and then we look at that. So the patches, let's talk about pricing. Any questions before I go into pricing? Why is the room so quiet? Because of the gift?
No, you talk about prices.
It's not magical.
we're
But why it's not magical?
Ah.
No, but they explain on the video why it's not magical. They're leveraging the energy pathways and through the meridian points to jolt. So if you look at all the latest research, why do we have
There's
flies?
a fly, yeah, that's only one.
Okay.
The outside doors open.
Why do we have, so if you look at the latest research on chronicity, which is the clocks that drive the architecture of the body, and if you look at when we run, pay attention guys, pay attention. When you look at when we run your EKG, or he was talking about heart rate variability. How many people know what heart rate variability is? I know most people don't know, so you need to pay attention when I'm talking. Okay, when
Say that again, heart rate?
heart rate variability, HRV.
Sure.
It's actually the more important measure. She would know because she has a Fitbit.
Oh,
It continuously measures your heart rate variability.
you mean the.
It is a better measure. Yeah, some of those measures on there. Yeah, HRV is actually the best measure for your blood pressure and your heart rate. It really shows how well your heart is beating over time. You know, when we take your blood pressure measurement, we are only taking it in a point in time. But when we look at your heart rate variability, we actually can see whether when your blood pressure is high it's because you don't like me, or whether most times your blood pressure is low or most times it's high. You understand? So those are very important measures. Okay. So these patches are trying to bring all these organs to their original state of homeostasis. Because most of our organs are diseased because they are out of frequency. That's what the patches do. They bring the organs back. That's why the impact is immediate. The minute they put the patch and energy flows through it, it calms the organ down to its original frequency. It cannot stay at that state if it is not giving those lifestyle things. Do you understand? The patch itself is not the cure. The patch requires that you fix your life. You understand? Then the patch is enhanced because energy requires food, right? Energy requires food. So even though it's coming through our energy channel, it needs an environment that is conducive for persistent health.
It's a lifestyle change, but that's easy to say and difficult to do.
Discipline.
Yeah,
Well, and you know the reason why it's difficult to do
yeah.
is because people haven't chosen to do it. So the big issue about habit is agency. I choose to run. I choose to study. I choose to be happy. That's at the core of habit. And then the doing of it, right? Victor is a Vietnam vet who is a very powerful man, right, Victor? And he knows the impact of habit and the power of it. So even hydration and all of these things, we as human beings are all challenged by habit. And so, Victor, I take that in very good stead, which is the biggest job we do here at the clinic. Mm-hmm. It's not just giving you nutrients, it's coaching you through habits around each of those things. And so if you add the habits required around those 7 things, your life becomes very complicated. That's why I say I'm a dictator.
You know, so you got to establish a strong goal within yourself to change.
I call it purpose.
There you go.
Yes, you have to really be clear. And actually, perhaps I should run that right now so that you really get that, because you're raising a very interesting question. So I want to talk about that, and then let me talk about the pricing, then I'll talk about that, okay? Are we good?
Is that good news, bad news? Bad news, good news?
You mean the pricing?
The pricing is the great news.
Price is the price. It's a value issue.
All right.
Victor, you keep triggering me, my friend. So I'm not going to talk about price. I'm going to talk about value. What's the difference, Victor, between price and value?
Wow.
It's a big
Something
question.
that's valuable is priceless.
You see? That's why I didn't want to talk about price. See, that's exactly correct, Victor. Something that is valuable is priceless. And so people say to me, oh, it's expensive. Compared to what? Price is relative to what? Right? To pain. You saw what that veteran was saying?
40.
For 40 years in pain, and it goes away in 1 second. What's the price of that?
Put a price on it.
That's the issue. What's the price of your pain going away?
Whatever it takes, yeah.
Right? Okay, so for light wave X39. The price for that is 150. For today only, we are selling that at 120.
How many days? Good 30
One-
Is that 30 days?
Yeah, 30
Yes,
days
30
supply.
days supply.
30 of them in the packet. You can order today. I may not be able to deliver all of it, but that's the price for today. The other patches are normally 120, and for today we're offering them at 90. Okay? Is that clear? So so if you order today, I may not have all of them available. Actually, I don't want to sell the ones I have. I need them tomorrow. But if you order today, then we will make sure it's delivered. My advice is that you buy this one,
Yes.
the glutathione, the carnosine, and the light wave, and the aeon. So it is good for you to buy a box of 5. And as your first set, then you play with it. Then over time, first of all, the glutathione patch is mandatory. Everyone who lives in California should be detoxing every day.
I have a question though, but I take the glutathione supplement.
Well, this one is going to trigger your body to produce its own glutathione.
So I don't, if I take.
No, you have to take both. Because we don't know how much, see, as we are all aging,
Okay.
we cannot be producing as when we were 10 years old. And the more glutathione you have, the body will just excrete it. So you can't be overloaded on glutathione.
Plus, supplementing with glutathione doesn't work because it doesn't pass through the digestive system unbroken down.
Except you do the liposomal.
Yeah, I do
yeah.
that,
Yeah,
yes, I do
except we do
liposomal.
thank you for that. And so glutathione is really a very challenging issue to supplement. So the liposomal,
I do take
because of the molecule size, allows a direct absorption because the digestive tract will not. Thank you for that.
So yesterday we watched this, of the women I can be very vain. I just, that kind of really, I have a good memory of the video that I saw, that how you change your face from, 8 weeks later after the stem cell and the glutathione and kerosene. And they say because we have a lot of free radicals, that's why we get old, because it affects your skin.
Actually, we have a video now that we're gonna, I
So
think we have the
that
video.
really gives a good goal. That
Yeah.
I wanna look good.
Yeah.
8 weeks
All right.
later.
So pricing, is that clear, guys? So if you want to place your orders, we're going to take those orders while we're grabbing something. So I want to jump back to Victor's question, right? Because there are some people who even take the patches and they forget to put the patches. There's a habit challenge that we all have in the architecture, right? Right. So people really buy the patches. How was the patch? Oh, I forgot to put it on. How do I deal with that? Right? So, Victor, your question is really very good. So, let's talk about purpose. So, there are 3 types of lives that we all want. Each and every one of us, right? My staff knows this, I repeat it all the time. What are the 3 lives? Because it drives our purpose.
It's a great.
One is a good life.
Happy, healthy.
Number 2
Peaceful.
is a pleasant life. Number 3,
Meaningful.
it's a meaningful life. This drives purpose. Those are the 3 kinds of lives that we want to have, all of us. We want to have a good life where we have enough money to do all the things we want to do, take care of our children, our families. Then we want to have a pleasant life. We want to enjoy ourselves, go on vacation, eat good food, sleep well, buy Hermes bag, handbags, things that make us happy, right? We want a pleasant life. And then we want a meaningful life because we don't want to die and be forgotten. We want our lives to have some meaning, right? As they say in Landmark, we are meaning-making machines. we want to make sure that when we die, my name is like on that
Freeway.
freeway,
You want it
the
the freeway,
Cine
yes, I know.
Freeway, or the Segerstrom Cine Center of Performing Arts, right? We want meaning. If not the billions that we made, what was the point, right? So around this purpose, we want to set certain goals. And what drives those goals? My freedom box. Because everything in life is resource driven. And these 5 things are resources: health, knowledge, relationships, time, and money. So for you to achieve this, you need to deliver those things. This is what delivers that life. Is that making sense? The resources, they call it in strategy, the resource-based view of strategy. You cannot run a business or your life or a household without these resources, right? That's what drives you to get this kind of life. So in America, people want this life, but they have not delivered the resources. Or they want the government to pay for it. That's why we have the challenges we have. So if you don't have this, like a friend of mine sent me something I just posted on Facebook this morning about being fair. Right, and so we asked the question, what is fair? My grandfather was clear to me when I was young. Life is not fair, deal with it. That's the only way. Everybody's life has some challenges. So there is nobody with a perfect life. Just deal with what the life you have. That's what it is.
Even if it's perfect, you're gonna find something wrong. Yeah.
Right? How much money is enough?
Not enough.
Time, God was really smart. He gave all of us enough, or just exactly the same. Everybody struggles with relationship. Most people don't want to read. And most people don't care about their health. No wonder the whole country is complaining. Do you see that? So you raise up the issue about habit. Because I want these things, that's why I focus my life in building the resources that are going to give me that. Because once you have this freedom, then I can put my name in a building. You might say that is meaningless, but that's for you. For me, it is meaningful.
So, okay, I'm understanding everything you're saying, but I want it to be able to be an automatic trigger within myself. So every day I can do
I'm going to that next step.
If you want it, you can remember.
Hold on, no, hold on. He's correct. I'm going to that next step. So, how does one then build a strategy that gives you the resources? And that's where we go to what we call behaviors or habits. Right? And these are the behaviors, but the question is, how do we build habits? There are 3 steps to building habits. The first step is knowledge. The second step is action. The third step is actually becoming. And then repeat. That's it. That's how you build a habit, right? If I want to start serving at 100 miles per hour, I have to look at all the videos and get the coach to show me how to do it.
You just sparked an idea. We should look at the ultimate outcome to be a motivator to go through these steps.
Yeah,
How are you going to be? How are you going to feel like?
I get that. Actually, yeah, it's the feeling. You look at Nadal winning the 12 Roland Garros, fell flat on the dust. That feeling of exhilaration, somebody who came back from injury, he's won 12 Grand Slams in the last 19 years. 12 Roland Garros Grand Slams, the toughest tennis surface on earth, right? When you win, and you could see what happened, the celebration of himself is not the millions he's gonna make, but the overcoming of injury and all of that. No American has won Roland Garros since 2005. No American tennis male player has won Roland Garros. So that says a lot, right? Actually, only 4 people have won in the last 19 years. And Nadal won it 12 times in those years. So he's talking about celebration, because inside here, that's what we call the becoming, right? When you actually can do it, it reinforces you to the next level of what we call the maturity cascade. You now move to the next level of knowing, doing, and becoming. You move to the next level of knowing, doing, and becoming. You move to the next level. These are what we call the maturity levels. You move from starting to play tennis, to being an intermediate, to being a club player, to becoming a professional, to competing at the top level.
To becoming better.
Yes.
And a winner.
Do you see that, guys? A lot of people get stuck here, and then they're jealous of these people. Everybody can get there. Nobody said you couldn't. Do you see the point? Is that making sense? And if you don't build the habits, and how do you start building it? It is your life. If you want to get from here to here, it is your life. You have to build the habits that are required for you to do that. That is at the core. And you know, the biggest challenge today in healthcare is not really the medications or the toxins or that. It's habits. Because if you look at all of these things, the only place where medication and nutrients come in is there. Everything else does not have to do with pharmaceutical companies.
Excuse me, but as you're talking, you triggered a thought in my head.
Yeah, that's good, Victor.
So, our ultimate goal, let's say we do all of this and we start becoming better. What's that going to do? It's going to extend our life,
See,
our attitude, 10,
it does,
20, 30, 40 years?
Yes,
Are
it
we
does.
gonna be,
No.
you know,
Okay, what we want is a healthy, long life. But again, in the architecture of the research we're looking at is that each of the cells in our body has a clock. So hold on, Victor.
Okay.
I don't know when your clock is going to run out, even if you're very healthy.
It's true.
They all know from the research that everybody, the cells in your body has a clock, because they try to freeze it and see whether they could increase cellular lifespan. And when they unfroze it, they thaw it, the clocks continue from where they stopped. So nobody has figured out how to change that clock. That is in every cell. But what we all want is a healthy, long life so that we can do these things. Is that answering your question?
It is, but maybe it's a personal problem I have, but if I'm going to live an extra 20, 30 years, everybody I see at that age now, I don't want to look like them or be like them. So I like imagery because I like to give myself a goal. I like to know where I'm going, but I'm getting kind of stuck right now.
I've looked at men who are 70 years old who are doing yoga, and he didn't barely look 70.
Okay, so
you can find pictures like that of people on the internet. I'm not a good example, but you can look for examples, right, of people who are 70 years old who have been doing yoga for 40, 50 years, and you can see that the ravages of age, and what have they telling us? So hold on, I could go step by step here. What's the key to long life with regard to nutrition? Low calorie. You have to consume at your age. I'm not going to say what your age is. You should be eating at about 300 calories a day.
okay.
300?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what the literature is saying.
300.
Yeah, I don't want to have an argument on it. Go look at the literature. It's low calorie. And if you go to the temples, the monks above 70, 75 years old barely eat. They barely eat. They sit in prayer and meditation for 10 hours in fasting. Look at the new literature. Fasting cures cancer. That's it. At the core of it is low calorie.
The other comments I've heard is like, I'm too old to change my habits.
Good, then die.
That's an excuse.
Then die.
Yeah.
I mean, we should get rid of most people like that. Then we'll perhaps get better food, because what screwed our food system, we're trying to feed everybody. So perhaps we should only feed the people worth living.
And I just turned 41, and I've been around 20-year-olds that look worse than I do because they put toxins in their body. They do things that I don't do. And I'm 20 years older than them, and I look younger than they do. I have my full set of hair. I'm healthy. I'm not in the hospital. I can go to work every day, and so it works. It really works. Everything I've tried has worked.
I think that's at the core of it, Victor, for all of us. These habits are really challenging. You know, when I list them, when people look at them, it looks simple. But as you realize that over the months we've been together, it takes a lot. You actually have, that's why I call it intelligent lifestyle design. You actually have to redesign your life. Yes, you have to change it, almost everything that you do, and say, when am I going to eat? What am I going to eat? Where am I going to eat it? Where am I sourcing it? How am I going to prepare it? How am I going to store it? Am I using the microwave? Where's my water source? What kind of my air source, right? You have to rethink everything in your life. That's what it takes. And if you don't want to do it, then you know you die, and then we bury you.
I need a cooler to take some of my stuff around, because I got home too late. I don't feel like, doing what I need to do, just go to bed. So I have to figure out ways to deal with it.
That's correct. Actually, I do remember that I knew this girl when we worked at Disney. She would carry in her bag her food and her drink, and I used to laugh. This Jewish woman, she would carry her food and her drink to meetings, because when we're in the meeting and they brought all that lousy food, she would just bring her plastic Ziploc bag and just start eating from her bag. And I was like, what's wrong with you? But now, almost 20 years later, I can think back and thought she was smart 20 years ago. And I didn't understand why she was bringing her own water in her own metal thing, her own bag of, food that she was going to eat all day. And she just said, Charles, if you continue like that, you're going to die bad, man. And I ignored her because I thought I was really smart. So I think that is really the core issue, how we work on this stuff, okay? So any questions? Because I brought some, the other thing about nutrition, let's just quickly talk about that, Victor. The advice is that for like people who are doing ketogenic or low calorie, it's 5 days plus 2. On these 2 days, you can go unrestricted. But for 5 days,
That's a good trick.
do calorie restriction and time restriction, right? That's the other research we found out. That if you eat the same calorie only when the sun is up, the impact is different when you eat anytime you choose like. They gave them the same amount of food, one restricted, one unrestricted. The weight gain difference was around 40%. So the body metabolizes differently when the sun is out.
Well, that's a fact.
But because of television and electricity, we started eating later and later in the evening, and we are getting sicker and sicker, right? So if you just look at time restriction and calorie restriction, you begin to just see what the opportunity is. So that I've changed. I now eat breakfast around 10 or 11, and then try and get an early dinner. That's it, right? Even though I'm over 60, I now have to manage my restrictions around 500 calories. I barely make that. But there is a goal. If I can do 500 calories, at some point I could get there. Just the glucose drink alone is what, 200 calories? 220. Yeah, 210. So it's tough, but there's a benchmark. I know where that is sitting, right? So that's the key issue. All right. How many people want to buy patches? Okay.
Protein.
You want
replacement.
Oh, you want your protein replacement? Okay, we're gonna get that for you. So you want which patches you want?
The skin and the exfoliant.
All right. So,
Because I ran out my last one.
okay, can you wait? I give you those on Monday.
Not the skin?
I have only one, and we're taking it to an exhibition tomorrow. Yeah. Monday, Simone will bring the rest of the patches. Then we can deliver to you or give it to you somehow. So anybody else who wants to set up and buy, and then just place your order, and then we'll do it. Any questions so far? How was it for you? Give us some feedback.
Well, very informative.
What does that mean?
It means
I'm
I
from
learned a little bit.
Africa, so when you say something is very informative, the objective is not just to inform you, the objective is what are you taking away?
Well, I'm gonna see if I can put, you know, this ketogenic diet a little bit more into work, right? I mean,
What does that mean, more into work?
Well, because all I do take,
MCT oil?
Yeah, MCT oil, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mix that with my coffee every day.
All
So I
right.
have like 1 cup of coffee a day,
Yes.
right? And,
It looks like you were trying to look for forgiveness there on the coffee thing.
well, no, but I try to limit myself, right?
That's
to-
good.
To just one, because I've seen people before, that, like, one is a whole pot of coffee,
Yeah.
you know, and I said, you know.
So you put the MCT oil there.
Right,
That it almost gives the taste of like milk, right?
yeah, so I
You
mean,
mix
it
it.
works out pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, prior to the MTC oil, I was just mixing straight coconut oil in there.
That's not bad too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's actually pretty, I like that, because it's got the coconut flavor, the MTC oil doesn't. You know, it's kinda,
Well,
Yeah.
they're all triglycerides. They're all with the higher fat concentrations. They're all good fats. So the MCT one,
It is made out of coconut oil.
yeah, some of it, but they've added some other things in there. They've added some other things in there and refined it more, and they just then sell it at a higher price. So I have both. I have both coconut oil and the MCT oil.
Coconut milk and the MCT.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah,
But,
sorry.
you hear- yeah, no, you know,
Go
I hear-
ahead.
and, you know, people say, oh, don't eat no dairy, stay away from the dairy, don't do no milk, and all that's all bad for you, right? But then there's another, school of thought says, no, it is good for you, right? But not.
Oh, no, that's school of thought.
Yeah.
No, no,
but
if you're
not in
aging,
excess.
if you're aging for your GI, dairy is not good for you.
Yeah,
It's good only for children.
so, no, yeah.
That's the key issue.
So
It's,
I do-
it's
I
an
do a
aging
coconut-
problem.
It should be from the mother for the children, not
Yeah.
from
So
the
I
cow.
don't have a
It's
gastrointestinal problem.
important. Some
If-
people
if
No,
it is
we
one-
all do.
But
we
I
all
do
do.
I do take a good probiotic.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. But we
From
all
the cow.
do have some issues with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, no, that's.
So are you practicing all these 7 things?
Pretty much,
Okay.
you know, pretty much.
How did you hear about our workshop?
Okay, actually, first, well, this workshop right here, right, was Dr. Kathy told me about.
Oh, Cathy Noel.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So prior to that, I was exposed to your group right here, right, at, I believe, the Orange County Fairgrounds.
Ah, wonderful. That's great. Yes. Okay, wonderful
One
to
of the
have you.
events- One of the events over there,
All right.
whether it was. at
You're
the-
gonna try those stem cell, right, and give us some feedback.
Yeah, it's-
We'll be
it's-
looking forward to that.
So that was the big push right here, was a stem cell thing, right? I didn't know if stem cell patch,
Yeah.
but I wanted some information on stem cell, because, you know, everything seems to be going that way. You know, a lot of
The
research. in it.
FDA is having some challenges with approvals, and so specifically, we can only use stem cells now for pain.
Yeah.
That's what it's approved for.
Well, you know, the FDA likes to dictate what they'll approve for on something.
Well, we have to be careful because I don't want to get arrested, right?
Oh, right.
And sued by the big boys.
Yeah.
Or you can go to Mexico or to Europe and do some other things with stem cells. But here in the US, there's some tight regulations around that.
Well,
Or you could choose to use it for something else, but that would be with consent, your consent to do that. Yeah, but what we can actually do is
but that's
constrain.
what you can say.
Yeah, that's what I can say, thank you,
Is to
exactly.
stay within the guidelines.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you
But
know-
some people come and they do a lot of other things with their stem cells,
Right.
and that would be at their own choice.
So, yeah, you know, it's a challenge to stay compliant with that too, because people wanna say things, you know, like using the word pain, right, instead of, you know, discomfort.
Exactly.
So for, you know, as soon as you say pain, right, all the red lights go on with the FDA.
Yeah,
And if you say discomfort, you know, you're skirting that.
exactly.
So, you know,
Exactly.
That's not if you have any pain, do you have any discomfort,
Correct.
you know,
Okay.
to stay within the legalities of it.
Okay.
So, and they love to shut people down.
Well, okay. So what about you, sir? How did you find us?
Why am I demanding this?
Oh, the mailing list? Oh, and we sent you an email. And you got your patches? Did we give you your patches?
No,
No,
I
he
haven't
came
been,
late.
I haven't been here for any of the patches workshops.
Oh, well, yes. Okay, so we have a patch set for you. You want to grab... Yes, so we have a patch set for you. I think there are about 8 patches in there. We're going to explain it to you after the session,
Good, I like
how
it.
to use them.
Appreciate
Hold
that.
it properly so it doesn't drop out. Okay. How was it for you, Kim? Anything you want to give us feedback on?
Are we a user?
Okay. All right. It's also good, even if you're not going to use the pain ones, if you have friends who have pain, try it with them, because I think that you've heard the video, the veteran, the pain impact on him was significant, and I know Beate here used it, and she didn't want to take it off for 1 week.
Does it work for gout?
For gout?
Yeah, yeah. It works
Well,
like when you
stem
I'm just
cells
curious,
affect
yeah.
everything.
So it does work for that?
It
I'm
works
just
for
curious.
every
Okay.
condition.
Only if the gout hurts.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because you wouldn't have the inflammation, I don't know.
Well, for the patch, we can say anything, because it's just a thermal patch. For the other stem cell extracts, we can't say anything else except for pain. Am I making that very clear?
So the
According
ice
to-
wave is the one that treated the pain? That's what I'm
Yes,
asking. Yeah.
yes, but the stem cell also does,
Okay.
because it really goes in and does the repair on the architecture.
Is it because it's from stem cells, even, like I put it
No,
on
don't you ask
my-
the question that you want to ask.
Yeah, I wanna ask that question. I
That-
put it on my foot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it worked on my back, but not on my foot. Can that be?
But that's
or-
what the body does.
Yeah.
That's what the body does. I just said that before. It's very
Yeah.
important, Biade.
So
The body is going to
patches are
decide.
doing
Mhm.
whatever it needs to be done in the
Correct.
body.
Yes, that's how it works.
Even,
It's like acupuncture. They put the needles to open the energy pathways that are blocked, and then the body heals itself. Yeah, that's really at the core of this patch architecture. Okay?
so then basically it doesn't even matter when you put it on, just put it on somewhere.
That's
and
why I
it's
said,
over.
when you look at those notes, you're gonna find where works for you best. So they give you the patching guidelines, but each person is gonna say, if I move it here, if I move it there, it works for me there. So these guidelines are just best practices. It doesn't mean that's where you have to put it. Is that making sense? So you're gonna find, and if you keep putting on your feet and it's working, then perhaps for you that's where it works, right?
So, putting 2 patches on because you have 2 different pains, that wouldn't be advisable either.
No,
Or
no,
is
no.
it not?
No, you can use as many, they're your patches. He was in hospital, Roy, who was presenting to my team this week, and he was having a septicemia, an organ failure, and he put on 39 patches. And he recovered. In a case where he said, in that intensive care unit, everybody else died. And he recovered. And when his wife there's another video where his wife was giving birth, and the wife did natural birth. She had about 25 patches on, and the baby came out without any pain or problems.
This would be good in the Dominican Republic.
Do you understand that? So there's a lot of testimonials and cases like that where people have used it even in the hospital, because they went into the hospital, the wife is lying there, and he put the patches on her. And you can see the video of the white woman having birth and feeding the baby afterwards, and there's no pain. She gave birth with just the patches supporting the body to naturally deal with it, right? Elizabeth, how are you feeling?
What I wanted to ask is, how long do one of those patches last?
I know that everybody asks that question. The typical advice is that it's between 12 to 24 hours. But you know, like Beate, she put it on for 4 days. My skin is too sensitive. After like 14, 15 hours, it begins to itch. So a lot of people are gonna have that itch reaction, and then you have to move it to different places so that you allow that, but because it has that adhesive tape from
It's
3M.
actually fall off sometime too.
Yeah, sometimes it falls
Like when
off.
you exercise, when you run.
Yeah, but when
back,
you're sweating, it will fall
Yeah,
off.
that's why I'm saying when you, because
You
I
have to
wear them
put it
when I
somewhere
run them,
where.
and it's
So
off.
put it where you don't sweat, which is what I try to do also. So sometimes I put it here, or I put it on my back
When I
at
run, I
night
sweat
when I
everywhere.
sleep. So
There's nowhere
you can
else.
put it for as long as, especially the glutathione one for detox, you can wear it for as long as you want, I think.
It still keeps activating.
Because, yeah, the crystals are activated, and for as long as you're getting benefit, it's fine. I mean, at some point, you have to really throw away the patch. Right? So we don't want to encourage Biade to be using her patches. She was trying not to buy any more, so she was extracting the value to the limit.
But just to know though, because a certain area, when you put it on and you keep it in the same position for a couple of days, your skin gets sensitive red.
That's
Like
what I was saying.
The X39, I don't turn red on back of my neck, but if I put it below my belly button, which is most of, after 4 days, it has a red circle. It takes a long time to go away.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
move it. So move it to the side and change the spot.
Because when the brochure set those positions, the back of the neck.
I
and
know,
the
yeah,
belly,
but
so-
try and move the position because they discussed it that sometimes the adhesive
Oh, yeah.
might be sensitive. My skin is sensitive to it,
My
so
skin's
now I
sensitive.
move it. So like yesterday I had it there, then I moved it up my neck, then I went below that point, but just around that same area. That's why I'm not wearing an X39 right now. Does that answer the question? So testing. Yes, Victor, you had a question.
I did. I came in a little late and as I'm looking at the stem cell and how they work. The X39 that goes behind the neck, that's pretty much just general.
Yeah, so this is the confusion.
I would
So yeah, it's a patch. It's not stem cell.
Oh.
What it's
okay.
doing
It's
is
not a
that,
stem cell.
yeah, it's activating your own stem cells.
The reactive pressure.
Yes.
Okay.
So, do we have that? Oh, he's not back?
Yeah, he's back.
Vincent,
Yes.
do we have that other video that shows the copper architecture, the copper peptides for stem cell?
No.
Perhaps we should just watch that, or we could send it to you and you watch it, because it really goes to explain. Or you could go to the website. No, leave that because we're really out of time. So I will send you some stuff. You can actually read the research paper around it, and it really explains it in detail, the underlying chemistry and biochemistry.
That's good. What I learned today is I was able to connect more dots, which helps create more questions. But ultimately, I have, it's up to us, each individual us. But, okay.
So that is the work we have here, is that it's going to be one person at a time.
Well,
As we
work-
get on this road, right? Because you see, in personalized medicine, when your results come, Victor, your results is like no other person's results. When Beatrice's results come, or when Elizabeth's results or Kim's results, they're all different because we're looking at the biomarkers. So the work that each of us has to do is very different across those 7 things, plus stem cells. So when we put the stem cells in our body, it's doing different things. For example, I'm pre-diabetic when I did the measurement 12 months ago. But I have done a lot of work. I'm sure if I measure now, I'll be around 5.2. But I still want to do a lot of work. I want to be below 5. Because the threat of diabetes and the complications around it are just disgusting. It's really horrible. It's horrifying, the work that is required. So it's better not to get there than to get there and try to reverse. That's really the big challenge. You see that? And
There was something on television this morning about diabetes. It says that if you exercise strenuously, that you can bring down the numbers and get rid of the diabetes.
That's not true, because I exercise.
Strenuously?
No.
Oh, she
I'm
runs
not
every
overweight
day.
and I work out, but I eat sweet. So my, was it 5.9 or 5.6?
no, 5.6.
5.6, okay, because I never thought it's gonna happen to me because I'm not overweight, I exercise, but that's not true. So now I have to cut out the sweets
And
and the
part
cholesterol.
of it could
Blame your ancestors.
well,
No, but see,
it's
that's
a
the question I was bringing up too,
it's
because.
a collection of a lot of different
I
things.
eat rice growing up, so how come I never
Also
had this issue before?
toxicity.
Yeah.
Right? right? There's a lot of
Because
issues.
I never thought that I have the high blood sugar because I'm not overweight.
But don't forget that people in the villages who are eating a normal carbohydrate diet and walking are in the sun every day. They are not diabetic. So there's a combination of things that is also affecting it. We don't know. We just
The
know
car
that.
exhaust is a big.
Yeah, we just know that if you fix those things and you work on them continuously, it's very helpful in stopping and slowing. It does not reverse. That's the big training today. It stops or slows, it does not reverse. The question is, how do we reverse? And that's where stem cells come in. Okay? Any questions? Are you good? Dr. Yi, anything to say? Are we good?
We're good.
All right, we have some refreshments back there. And if you want to place your orders with Vincent, then do that. And then I thank you very much for being with us today. Thank
Okay,
you.
so I want and I want the skin one. Charles, what is the name of the one for the skin?
It's a la vida. It's here.
Okay. And the glutathione.
It's a la vida.
And the glutathione.
You said you tried the X39 already?
I'm using it right now.
Snuffed it
It's
out.
actually wood. Yeah. So that's the overall one. Yeah. No, it gives you the energy. You actually lose weight on top of that too.
Yeah.
You actually
You're
lose
more
weight.
energetic. You burn
Yeah,
more
you burn
calories.
more calories, so that's a thing too. Yeah, so no,
Wednesday.
anything you wanna have, I will definitely do that. Yeah.
I'm leaning towards that.
So,
Thank you.
I have a
For the
friend
first
that
one,
has
you ever
a
tried it, you should
problem
do the
with some
X39
shoot
before you do any
there
other
because
one.
she went
This-
through
And I used to use the one for sleep also, because I
some
take,
patches, but a little,
I use that and I
you
take,
know.
Oh, yeah.
what is that, nighttime, the spray,
See what
the
happens here.
mattress,
So,
because I have
follow
a
the
problem
directions.
sleeping.
This is the first time
Yeah,
I've actually been
yeah,
over
so,
here.
yeah, so I use that, so it helps fall asleep.
Let's go check this out.
Yeah.
So, here I am.
And then I'm getting this. Okay, wait.